So hello, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, I am Mirka Arvalo, and I'm the lead venture coach at Blackstone LaunchPad. So this week, we have another exciting masterclass. So Blackstone LaunchPad is an entrepreneurial hub here at UB, and we try to help students on their entrepreneurial pursuit in many different ways, one of them being these masterclass workshops. So this week, we have a masterclass on affiliate marketing. And our master for the week is Ben Swart. So a little bit about Ben. He is a product manager at 3AM. 3AM Innovations basically creates tool sets to help firefighters and first responders do what they do best, save lives. Also, some information I stole off his LinkedIn. He has been a volunteer firefighter in the past, as well as he's a UB alumni. I think you graduated in 2019 with industrial engineering?
That's correct.
Yes, perfect. LinkedIn stalking was very accurate. So if everyone could welcome me to welcome him, and you could take it from here, Ben.
Cool. Well, thank you for that intro, Mirka. Excited to be here with you all tonight. I see a few familiar faces when I did the Innovate and Caffeinate. How's it going, guys? And yeah, I'm gonna touch on a few different things tonight with a focus on the specific variety of affiliate marketing that I'm doing right now. But affiliate marketing as a whole is honestly a great skill set to learn and get into in 2023. This is something that you can do kind of wherever you're at in life, whether you're working from home, you're in school, you can get started with all this stuff. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And I'll just kind of start off with affiliate marketing in general is you as an individual, a marketer, taking somebody's product, whether it's a physical item from Amazon or a digital service like somebody's course or something else, and you're marketing that product or service to other people. And usually you do that through like an affiliate link. So if people come through your link, you'll get a piece of that sale, whatever that is. And it's a commission-based thing. So the more people that go through your link and buy the product or service, the more sales you're going to generate. And this, is used in a ton of different industries. I know a lot of people that do it with Amazon. So if you like certain Amazon products, you can actually join their affiliate network and just basically share links to various products, whether you're making content on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, and you can just have those links kind of there and talk about those products. And then if people go through that, you're going to earn a little piece of commission. And that's great. I've done a little bit of that in the past myself, but where I've landed right now actually is what I'm most excited about. I'm doing high ticket affiliate marketing with a tax company. So I don't know anything about taxes other than I'm a small business owner and I have to pay them. But and so I'm not a formal CPA by any means, but I've learned this one system really, really well over the past almost 7 months now. And I'll just start with a little slideshow. So I'm just going to share my screen here. Just give me a moment. Okay. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can.
Great. Okay, so what I have here is Bottom Line Concepts and the Employee Retention Credit. So Bottom Line Concepts is a tax and CPA firm based out of Miami, Florida. They're one of many that specialize in the Employee Retention Credit. So we'll kind of go through and get into that. Let me just move this around. So we're going to kind of go over, who Bottom Line Concepts is, how do you know if a business is eligible, and I'll also dive into just explaining like what the Employee Retention Credit is, because I'm sure a lot of you probably aren't familiar with it. And why would you be? The IRS doesn't, tell everybody about this. They're terrible at marketing it. So I'll kind of give you that lowdown there. So the ERC, basically the ERC is a government refund program. So it came through the same CARES Act that the PPP loans came from. And you may have heard about those through the media or wherever. Businesses got loans from the government to cover their payroll during 2020 and 2021 when the pandemic was really hitting everybody. And they got money from the government to kind of pay for payroll to keep people on board. So that's one part of the CARES Act. The second part that people really don't know about is the ERC, the Employee Retention Credit. And this is a government program that actually gives businesses a refund back on the payroll taxes that they paid to keep those employees on. And it comes in a lump sum when you apply for it. The trick with it is most businesses don't know about it. And if they do know about it, they usually don't know if they're eligible. And if they are eligible, they usually don't even know how to apply for it or how to get it. And there's a lot of weird media around this, and it's a whole mystified experience where businesses are worried that if they apply for it and they ask for too much, that they're going to be at risk for getting audited, or if they apply for it, that they're not going to get the max amount that they actually deserve. So what my company does with Bottom Line Concepts is we just explain how businesses can get this credit, and we work with them to get it filed. We do everything A to Z with the client and kind of just hold their hand through the process. And we even submit their documents on their behalf to the IRS directly. And we collect a fee at the end when they get paid for doing this service. So just to explain, like just briefly, like how businesses can qualify for it. If you had significant change in business hours, if your operations were suspended or partially suspended due to COVID restrictions, for example, a lot of brick and mortar businesses were told to just stop operating altogether unless they were deemed essential. So if that was a business, that you worked at and you were deemed non-essential and your businesses had to stop operations or drastically change, there's a good chance that they would qualify for this credit. And why do we care about this as students here at UB? We can help other businesses by just bringing this opportunity to their attention. And then the way we do it is we actually just book people on calls to get them set up with a tax company. And when we do that, you can make a nice little commission for doing it. And we'll get further into that as I go on here. But as you can see, there's a lot of different ways to qualify. The most straightforward one, by the way, is if a business saw a decline in revenue from 2019 compared to any quarter in 2020 or 2021. If there's any decline in revenue based on COVID, they can easily qualify for the ERC. And most businesses don't even know that, which is just insane. And I'll say it again, the IRS is awful at marketing their own products. Okay, so how does the process work? So as affiliates, we basically just do lead generation. So we're finding qualified leads. That could be your parents' business. That could be, friends or family that own businesses. That could be businesses that you used to work at. And later on, I'm going to go through a case study of a business that I actually used to intern at. I called them up one day. They didn't know about the ERC at all. And lo and behold, they're getting back over $1 million because I gave them that call. So this is really impactful stuff, not only in the local community here in Buffalo, but across the entire country. So what we do here is we do lead generation. We get people that potentially could be a fit for this program. We book them with a call with an ERC advisor. So we don't even have to be on that meeting ourselves. We're just setting them up on a call. So it's as simple as sending an email to somebody. If they come back and say, yeah, I'm interested, you just ask for their phone number, a good time for a meeting, and you just book an appointment. After that, technically, our job as referral partners or affiliates is done. So it's pretty straightforward. Once a client gets on with Bottom Line, they're going to go through a lengthy process on Bottom Line side where they're going to take in their data, W-2 information, their revenue, gross loss, or what's the word I'm looking for? Earnings, receipts, right, for 2020 and 2021. And they'll walk them through the process and find out and calculate how much the business is actually eligible for. And again, that's not done on your end at all. They're doing all that hard tax work. Once they're done and everything is set, the Bottom Line is going to go to the client and say, hey, we got everything ready to go. Here's the amount that you're eligible to get. Would you like to sign off? And at that point, the customer has one more sign off they need to do. And then Bottom Line will file those documents with the IRS. Then after that, it's a fun waiting process of anywhere from 3 to 6 months where the IRS is getting bombarded with these applications now of people trying to catch up, and they're going to process it. And then the IRS will pay out the business directly. After the business gets paid out, if you referred them after that process, then you'll get your affiliate commission. So I want to lead with, this is not fast money for anybody in this specific process. So I have deals that I started in September that I'm just starting to see payments from this March. So it takes a while on a turnaround, but the fact of the matter is the commissions are very high for what we're doing. And I'm going to get into that as we go on here. And I just want to stop real quick. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I know I've kind of blasted a bunch already. Does anybody have any questions? All right, cool. We'll keep going. So Bottom Line Concepts, and this is actually a dated slide deck. We filed over $4 billion in the employee retention credit, helping over 30,000 businesses at this point across the country. So we've been in the game for a while. And before the ERC opportunity was a thing, we actually did refund and recovery money well before this entire program. We've been in business since 2009. So we have a lot of experience in this. And then since ERC came out, the team has basically 95% shifted to just dealing with ERC and those filings altogether, because it's such an important thing to get the money back to business owners' hands, right? And it's honestly just very lucrative for everybody involved. And then relevant industries. So it's like, who can get this money? And it's basically any company has an opportunity to get it. If they have been established since 2019 and they've been operating with at least 5 W-2 employees, we can work with them. So this is, your local gym, restaurants, all these businesses qualify, and so many of them still don't even know they can get this credit. And just some more example clients here, a manufacturing client is getting $2.8 million back in the refund. And this is money that they don't need to pay back. They can take the cash and do whatever they want with it. They can give bonuses to their employees. They can hire staff. They can build a new office. They can do repairs, whatever they need to do. They can also throw this money on the blackjack table if they want. It's their money. So that's what's also really cool about this. There's no restrictions on how it's spent because it's a refund on taxes that they already paid. And then, again, questions. If you have anything, I'll just stop real quick again. Any questions on the overview of the ERC process or what that's like? Cool. So let me get out of the slideshow here. And so now let's get into the fun part, right? Why do you guys care about this? And when I first started this, because I've been doing entrepreneurial things for the past 7 years, and I'm always skeptical getting into a new opportunity. It's like, is this legit? Does this really work? Is it really that easy? And nothing is really that easy. There's work involved, but the trick is I found systems that really work to make this happen. And over time, I've really perfected the process, and I'm willing to share that with all of you. So here's the breakdown from like a high level. Basically, we make as referral partners 10% on whatever the tax company makes. So you can see this breakdown here, 200-person company on average, and I've seen this consistently throughout the deals that I've gotten. They're getting back in the credit, sometimes even more. The absolute max amount is $26,000. So that's a lot of money per employee that a business potentially can get back as a refund. So we'll say for this example, the business gets approximately $2 million. Bottom line is going to take a 25% fee, meaning bottom line takes $500,000 of that deal for handling all of the work. So they're doing great. But as us, the little guy referral partners, we're taking 10%. So if you close a deal this big, you're walking away with $50,000. And the way I do this is through cold email. So I'm just emailing businesses on blast, right? Of course, you have to have an opt-out. You don't want to spam anybody that doesn't want to be spammed. That's really important. You need to give people an option to say, hey, if you want to stop, just tell me to stop and I'll stop, or give them a link to unsubscribe. That's a big piece. But at the end of the day, you can see right here, if you submit just a medium-sized company, what you can make just for connecting them to this service is really life-changing money. And all of you, I'm sure there's many of you that have student loans like myself that still have those, right? And one of these deals can almost entirely, if not entirely, knock out your whole student loan budget. And like I said before, this is not fast money. So if you close a deal today, you're not going to see this money for realistically 6 to 6.5 months. So it's kind of like a do the work now and get the money later opportunity. And in that way, it's very passive, right? So that's basically the deal. And another big bonus here is if you refer one other person. So it's not like you can create this infinite downline of all these people. That does not work. It doesn't help you. It doesn't do anything for you. But if you join the program and you want to do it, you can refer a friend or a family member. They can do it too. And any deal that they get, you get an override on their commissions. So you get a 5% of whatever they make, or essentially half. If they make 10%, you're getting 5. So you're making like 50% of whatever they make, which is awesome. So that's basically the commission structure. And, you may be thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Is it really this easy? Are you just sending emails? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to show you an exact case study. If you'll bear with me here, it's a little lengthy here, but I just want to show you exactly how I got a deal for a business in Buffalo, New York. And they're super stoked. They're very close to getting their huge payout. and I'm going to get my nice commission for helping them through that process. Before I get into that, just stop once more. Any questions?
We do have a question in the
Okay.
chat. It
Okay.
says, is this similar to an MLM or different?
It's very different. So MLMs, I'm extremely familiar with. As a side hustler, entrepreneur, I've almost gotten into a few different MLMs, and I'm not going to knock the MLM business model. There are ways to make money in that. There's things like Amway, there's other stuff. And, I'm not a huge fan of that business model. You constantly have to just fill the funnel with people to go anywhere. You have to build your downline, right? And if people back out, then you're kind of screwed. So I'm not a fan of that model, and this is not that. However, to grow the affiliate network, there is that incentivization to just go one level out. So for example, I'll just walk you through. If I was to refer Mirka to be an affiliate and she wanted to go forward with this, she could go and get deals. She'd get her full 10% commission. And then I would get a 5% override on any deal she closes. So that incentivizes me to help Mirka do the best that she can and answer any questions as an experienced person doing this to make sure that she succeeds, not only to benefit her, but candidly, because I get a little kickback for doing that, which is great, right? But if Mirka refers somebody, I don't see any of that commission. So it kind of stopped. It's just one level. You can bring one person in, and that's just to enhance and grow the network. But it's not a full-blown MLM where you can just keep stacking people and I get a drip campaign of all these commissions. If Mirka refers 100 people, that has no effect on me at all, because then it would just diminish the commissions, right? So it is not that. And over at the 220 room, do you have a question there? I saw you get closer to the camera. What's up? I can't hear you. Worst case scenario, maybe type it in the chat. Yeah. Do you need to learn any specifics for the paperwork side of things? And how is the curve? Okay, so definitely it's good to understand how the overall process works. Do you need to know the specifics of exactly the paperwork that needs to get filed and be an expert at that? Absolutely not. Everything that I cover, I actually have a course that I'm going to give you guys access to completely for free if you want it. So I cover everything in there. And if you just learn from what I give you in the course, you'll have everything you need to know to go off and start getting these deals. And the learning curve, so really candid with you, I've done drop shipping, I've done Amazon selling, I work full-time at a startup. I'm used to the scrappy entrepreneurial flow of things and spending a ton of time to learn new processes. And, I've had successes and failures, and this opportunity, bar none, is the easiest thing to learn compared to the ROI that you can make from it, right? And, if I had to give a rough estimate, if you use my course and go through that completely, you're going to spend a little less than 3 hours to probably crush through that. So that's kind of the upfront to get familiar with it. And then past that, you set up some automations and you kind of apply my systems. Again, another couple hours. So we'll call it 5 hours of work spread out over whatever period. Maybe that's a weekend for you. And then once you're rolling, you could spend as little as 20 minutes a day on this. I actually just closed a deal today with 210 employees. I did it while I was at my day job, kind of just taking a 3-minute break to send an email and confirm them, to book them on a call. So it's not a very time intensive thing once you have everything systemized, which is great. I know you guys are super busy, you're students, you have exams, you had all this stuff going on. This is something you could literally do, as everybody's got their head in their phone anyways, walking down the hall. You could be just booking a deal in that time in between classes, like legit. That's what it takes. So it's very low on the time investment, and the learning curve is really not that challenging. And I'll also offer, if anybody has any questions on this whole process, you'll all have my email. You can reach out to me anytime and I'll get back to you within a day or two and answer any questions you have. So if you struggle with something, happy to help. So I hope that answers your question there. Cool. And then so if we have any other questions, feel free to just put them in the chat, and Mirka, let me know if anything pops through and we'll go over it. And then I just want to review the case study that I created. And this is just to demystify what's behind the curtain. How is this happening? Is it really that easy? And I'll show you. So This is something that actually I offer online too. Sometimes I'm selling it, sometimes I'm giving it for free, but you guys are going to just have this for free tonight, and I'll also send it to you if you want. But here's just my Excel spreadsheet. And of course, anybody could type this up, right? I promise this is like legit. This is what it looks like. It's just a live Excel spreadsheet. But this company here in Buffalo is getting $1.132 million back in the credit. We've submitted this back in December. So I should see the money for this in the next 2 months, likely, based on how things have been going and how I've been seeing payouts with the IRS. And my commission for this is $22,000. Now, all I did was what you're going to see below to get this deal done. So for me, I actually used to work at this company. So I gave the head of HR a phone call. I said, hey, this is Ben. Have you guys received the ERC yet? I just got the employee retention credit for my business, and we ended up getting back $77,000. And that's true. So I'll add to that. My startup at 3 a.m., we applied for this credit as customers of Bottom Line back in May. We received our money in late October, and we got $77,000 back. As a pre-revenue startup, this was the easiest money we literally made all of 2022. It took so little effort from our team, and it's basically just straight profit for us minus the fee that we paid to Bottom Line. So I had a great experience with this as a customer first before I became affiliate, which has just reinforced my affiliate experience. So the head of HR there was like, nope, haven't heard of it. Don't know what ERC is. I was like, awesome. I'd love to help you guys out. And she said, please send me an email. And then we basically said our goodbyes, and I followed up with an email. So after that, it was just all email from there on, and I hadn't talked to her on the phone since. So that's just how I started this deal, because I had a personal relationship with the head of HR here, and she knew me, so I figured it'd be good to just call her first. But past that, I do everything pretty much with just cold email, and I never talk on the phone with anybody. So if you're a little introverted or you don't feel comfortable with doing sales over the phone, I know that's super scary and challenging, especially in the beginning. You don't need to do any of this. I'm just walking you through this one specific case here. So I followed up really shortly after, and I hope you can see here. Let me zoom in. There we go. That's a little better. So I said, as discussed, here's the information on the ERC. And basically, I just plugged my affiliate link. So from there, she went through the affiliate link. She then filled out a form and booked a call herself. And I'll just show you what that looks like actually right now. That'll be a good thing for you to see. So this is it, right? This is my affiliate link. You'll see my name up here, right? I'm up there. This is my personal link. So any deal that comes through this is tied to me automatically. So I just go to get qualified. It pulls you down. You select the number of employees. In this case, it was 5 to 99. Hit submit. And then it just punches you to a calendar. And the next available ERC advisor is going to be able to pick up whatever you book. So you click a time. Let's call it Thursday, 7:15. Great. And then you just punch in some information. Some stuff's left over from an old customer that I booked. But you just punch this in. Or if you give people your referral link, they'll punch this all in themselves. It's very straightforward. Nothing really complicated. And after this, they'll just schedule a 15-minute call. So that's kind of that process. So I sent her the link, and then she was good. And then, she was asking some stuff if they've already looked into this. And so she was going forward. She asked how I was doing. We had a little rapport there. And then I saw that she had a call and had a successful meeting with Bottom Line, because I have in my backend pipeline, I can see, what stage each deal is in. So you get full transparency on where everything's at. So it helped you in the ability to do follow-up successfully. So I always reach out and say, hey, is there anything I can do to help? And this is not required of you. However, it's good sales etiquette. If you want someone to complete your call to action, it's good to just send them gentle follow-ups, whether that's every other day or weekly. I've been, kind of experimenting which cadence people are most responsive to. But you can see I sent this on Friday the 16th, and she got back to me on the 18th. Yep, we talked to Bottom Line, just kind of working through with our CFO to make sure we're all set here. I'll reach out if I have any questions. She appreciated that I was, willing to help. Usually people are. She then got back to me with an update. The CFO has started to move forward. And I was like, awesome, that's great. And then simultaneously after that, I saw that they had signed the agreement, which is when they began their process to move forward. And, I also just wanted to double check after, a few days later. So we got 29th here. She followed up with that. On the 9th, I checked in, said, how's everything going? Kind of, pretty straightforward stuff. Want to make sure that everything's going good. And then, the head of HR got back with her CFO, and just to kind of keep pace. It's not like you're not trying to be pushy, right? But you are trying to make sure people don't forget, because entrepreneurs get extremely busy. Everybody gets busy in their day job, and you want to just make sure they're not falling off, because ultimately this benefits them significantly. And keep in mind, at this point, they had no idea how much they would qualify for. So continued forward, they had their legal team review it. Some bigger companies, like this one with 59 employees, they're going to take this to their legal team to make sure that our agreement's all good. So they did that. After that, again, now we're at November 3rd, so a little bit down the road. Last email was at like October 9th. I said, how's everything going? I saw that they had completed the process, submitted their documents, and they were on track to get that $1.1 million, and was very excited for them, and they were ecstatic too. So got that set up, and the head of HR responded, they're communicating with our CFO. Since he signed, I will check in, boom, boom, boom. And that's it. So a few emails back and forth. This was actually one of my more complicated deals. If you'll call like 7 to 8 emails complicated, that's what it took to close this deal. And, these are quick emails, right? This isn't like paragraphs of stuff. This is pretty straightforward stuff. Other question? Type it away and I'll get to it when you're done with it. So that's it. They're getting a ton of money back. I'm making $22,000. I just sent some emails and had a 5-minute call, and that's it. That's the whole process. So this is something that anybody can do. Since I've mastered this process, I'm actually on average closing a deal or two every single day. So you can imagine, you do this for the rest of the year, there's a huge pipeline of stuff building up. And candidly, I'm on track to do $1 million in revenue this year with this process. And I do this all while maintaining my full-time job. And I see that question just came through. Okay. What is your typical return versus how many people you contact? How many emails do you send a week? That's a great question. So I've gotten very, very deep into this process now. And in the beginning, I started out with people in my network, which is where I always recommend people start, because you likely know at least 1 or 2 business owners that could take advantage of this program if they haven't already. So I always recommend you start there to kind of keep the barrier to entry simple and straightforward. Work with people that you already know. They're going to trust you. You trust them. You can have a candid conversation, and that's the best place to start. But what I'm doing now is I'm sending just under 3,500 emails every single day, blasting. And that's across 12 different email accounts right now. So I have a whole system. What's actually crazy is I operate with 2 cell phones every single day, so I can have them on the go. And that might sound a little nutty, and you do not need to get that into it to get deals. Believe me, I'm just going extremely hard at this because I see the opportunity and it's a limited time. So I'm sending 3,500 emails, give or take. My plan by the end of this month is to be sending 5,000 emails every single day. And that's not 5,000 new emails, which is a really important clarification. It's 5,000 emails total. And I have multiple steps in my sequences that are completely automated. So it's, maybe it's more like 1,000 new emails every single day. And then 4,000 are follow-ups that periodically hit the people who I've already reached. And if they, I see that they open the email, they'll keep getting emails from me until they either tell me to stop or the sequence finishes, or if they reply and say they're interested and I book them on a call. And then typical return versus how many people you contact. Yeah. So I'm sending 3,500 emails a day. On average, I'm doing a deal a day. So it's actually a really low return, but those deals at minimum, like the smallest deal that I've done, I'm making a $1,700 commission. So that's the thing here. It's a numbers game, and some deals at the absolute max, you can do extremely well with. So for example, there on one, I submitted a deal that had 30 employees. So I thought, hey, this would be a nice deal. I'll probably make a few $1,000s on it. And they're going through the gathering document stage and going forward with everything. They've signed the agreement. They're ready to go. And I find out this is a parent company of 7 other entities. And the total employee count now went from 30 to 750. So that deal turned from me making potentially, we'll call it like $6,000 to making 6 figures on one deal. This is life-changing stuff. So it doesn't really matter. If you're getting a deal a week, you're still setting yourself up for amazing stuff. Even if a deal a month, right? If you close a deal a month, it's going to be enough to really change things in your life, whether it's just, being able to really max out and ball out, and buy some food at UB or whatever it is, right? Or paying off, rent, car payments, getting off those student loans, or just investing in yourself, right? So maybe this is some working capital for you as entrepreneurs to invest in other opportunities. I know that's how I look at other things. When I get my payouts and I start really banking this money, my move is to take this and put it into other assets like real estate, Airbnbs. I'm looking to invest in a franchise. So it's really important that when you make money, you're not just kind of blowing it all. That's a huge part too. You want to retain what you're making and reinvest. So I can't stress that enough, but I hope that answers the question on the return and how many emails I'm sending. Cool. So that's that. And then just to touch on some more stuff in the case study, I'll kind of rip through this quick, but I have some links here to connect people with resources. This is my course, ercprofitscourse.com. Now, I don't want you guys to pay anything for this. So if you are interested, I just simply want you to send me an email, say, hey, Ben, I'm interested in the course, and I will send you free login, a link to log in, and you'll be able to set up and go through the course entirely for free. I'll also give you this case study for free too. So you guys are going to pay nothing to learn all of the secret stuff. And I want you to give it a shot if it's something that's interesting to you. And I also understand this may not be for everybody too. That's totally fine, but just want to give you that opportunity completely with no paywall so you can give it a shot. And just to go a little bit deeper, just two quick ones. Here's some other deals that I did outside of that big one. And some are really simple. People respond. This is like the third email in a sequence that's completely automated that I sent out. This is what I said right here. And this guy responded, I'm interested, but he didn't have decreasing revenue, so he wasn't exactly sure. So I just kind of explained there's other ways to qualify, and boom, are you available at 2? I booked him at 2 p.m. with an advisor. I was not personally on that call, so all I did was set that appointment just through that affiliate link like you saw before, and that deal was done. That's it. 2 emails, and that deal alone is going to net me over $40,000. So it doesn't take a lot of work in most cases. You get some, like one where I had today, I went back and forth with like 10 emails just today. So it was a little bit more involved, but still it took less than 20 minutes to get everything wrapped up, spread out through 2-minute spurts throughout the day, right? So that's kind of the back end flow of things. And I just have another one too. That's the same thing. This is, that same type of email. This also got someone else hooked and they were like, hey, I want to go, and boom, booked them on a call. So it gets very simple. The key here for the volume that I'm doing is just the scale. So like I said, I'm sending out a ton of emails every single day, and I teach you how to set those systems up in my course. And, privately, if any of you are really, really into this, I'd be happy to schedule a call with you as well and kind of explain the real deep details on how I do this and all my methods. So I'll pause there again. Any other questions on kind of the case study or how that process works on the back end? Cool. All right, guys. So that's the main gist of it. I know we kind of breezed through that quick, but I just have some other just kind of supplemental stuff. So this is the course, just kind of give you a quick overview of like what it looks like. So when you get into the course, which you'll get, of course, for free, kind of just go through the whole process. I have some videos in here, why you should take this seriously. Again, these are more people getting deals to kind of show you and hype you up of like what's possible. But I think I've kind of shown you behind the curtain, so you guys already have that. Walk you through where you should start. And that's really with leveraging your existing network. So I have some videos here explaining that, making your first lead list, contacting those leads. Then we get into cold outreach. This is the real meat and potatoes of what I'm doing here. So I explain, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, which is a nice little add-on and useful for other things outside of this. And, getting into email, right? So that's really important. I teach you how to make a professional domain, which is sometimes a very difficult process. I spent hours trying to get a professional email domain set up properly, and you have to do all this weird email IT stuff on the back end so you don't end up in people's spam inboxes, because that's a huge thing. If you just make a brand new email and you send out 100 emails right off the bat, you're going to get flagged as spam. Nobody's ever going to see your messages. So there's all kinds of like dark art science to making this work. And I've stumbled through it in the past months, and I've really found what works and what doesn't. So that's all going to be in here. Again, just more information on like lead sources. Where am I getting leads? And I use a website called apollo.io. So this is like just another thing to remind you, people can charge thousands of dollars for this information because this opportunity is so lucrative, and I want you guys to have it for free. So I'm not going to sell you anything at any point. There's no upsell. There's no nothing. It's you guys get everything for free because I want you to win. And I appreciate, working with Blackstone LaunchPad, and Hadar's just got something amazing over there. And what you guys do is so great. And I'm just excited to be a part of that and give you this opportunity. But the software I use, you can actually get started also for free. So if you go to apollo.io and you get set up, you get a free trial that actually lasts infinitely, and you'll get X amount of email credits to just go and find leads and start sending emails for free. And you actually never have to pay. If you want to pay and scale and go faster, that's always an option. And it's like $50 a month. So that it might sound like a lot to you guys, but there's absolutely ways to do this for free, a ton. There's also like the really big element. Like I said, you don't want to send out 100 emails on a fresh email right away. You need to warm up the email. And this kind of sounds funny, but you connect it to a software and it's going to connect to your inbox, and it's going to send basically these garble AI messages to your email. And then there's an automation tool that's actually going to open that email up, read it. If it goes into spam, it's going to mark it as not spam, put it in that primary inbox. And then your email is going to be used to send out emails to other folks who are also using the service. And it's completely automated. And you do this over a few weeks, and it warms up the email so that when you are ready to do your outreach and you want to send out 100 emails a day, you're good to go, because that inbox has been set up and curated so that it's not like a red flag when all of a sudden you start sending out a ton of emails. So this is a really key thing. And just so you know, this is all stuff you can apply in any affiliate marketing opportunity, not just for ERC. So this course is going to teach you how to do the entire affiliate marketing process, regardless of whether you want to do ERC or not. So it should be pretty helpful if it's something you want to get into. And then that's pretty much the bulk of it. I go through the whole entire process in this, how to follow up, common objections that people have. I explain a whole guide of like when people say, well, why wouldn't my accountant just do this, right? And the answer is, if your accountant hasn't done it already, maybe there's a problem there, right? And so, teaching people that we can also get them the max amount compared to an accountant who's not specialized in ERC is another key thing. Like my first thought when we got approached about the ERC, I was like, well, why don't I just do this myself and pay no fee to anybody? I'll just take the whole stack of money. And then I looked into it and I was like, well, if I file incorrectly, I risk the company at becoming audited, which you never want to have. If I file incorrectly, I might not be applying for the max amount possible. So it made sense at the end of the day, very clearly, to go with an expert that's going to take a fee to get this work done. And while I'm on that topic, I'll just touch on bottom line does not take any money up front. Any company that's asking a business for money up front to complete this ERC filing service generally is a scam. So with any good opportunity, scammers get in there too and abuse people that are trying to get ahead and trying to figure things out, and they'll take advantage of that. So never work with a company that offers or asks businesses to get paid up front. It's generally a scam. They'll take the money and run. And so bottom line has a beautiful process where they don't charge the client a single dollar until the money from the IRS is in the bank account of the business owner. Only then does bottom line ask for their contingency fee, which ranges from 15 to 25% based on the size of the business. And then again, out of that contingency fee, that's where you're getting your cut as a referral partner. So that's basically the whole process. I have some bonuses here as well. I have a Facebook group that you can get into and join with 1,300 people that are just absolutely crushing deals every single day. We have a bunch of people that are literally going to become millionaires doing this in the next 2 years, which is just an incredible thing. Affiliate marketing, like I said, you can do this for any product, but I don't think you'll find another affiliate opportunity that's going to be as rewarding as this. You're giving business owners who are struggling right now to keep people on staff. You see all this downsizing from Amazon, Microsoft. People are getting laid off all across the country. Maybe we're in a recession. I don't know where we're at with that. We don't need to get into that. But times are tough and people are still recovering from the pandemic. So this money is really making an impact in the community, right? The startup in Buffalo that's going to get this money, they're over the moon because they're going to be able to hire back some people that they had to lay off just because they didn't have the capital to keep them on staff. So it's a really exciting thing. It's something you can feel good about. It's an altruistic opportunity. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. So that's basically the end of my presentation here. I just have some other kind of guides and I can shoot you all this too. It's pretty straightforward stuff, but that's basically it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I know we ended a little early tonight. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask now, or if you'd like to send me an email, I'm sure Mirka can give out my email address and you can reach me at any time. And if you want to set up a call and jam, we absolutely can. I'd be happy to.
I do have a question, Ben. So you mentioned a couple times there's a limited window for this. So
Yes.
what time like our business is no longer eligible for ERC?
Yeah, so the government loves the game of moving the goalposts all the time. So this program was actually supposed to be done by this time, but
Mhm.
lucky for us, they've extended it multiple times. And as it stands today, which is subject to potentially change, um, the qualifying money from 2020 is eligible to be received in ERC up until April of 2024. The qualifying money for 2021 is eligible to be received up until April of 2025. So we have a little over, I think it's like 700 days to really take advantage of this opportunity. However, after April of 2024, when that 2020 money gets knocked out, it's going to shrink down the opportunity significantly because a lot of the money that we're seeing businesses get back is coming from that 2020 impact. So just know this is a limited time thing. This is not something you can make a career out of. This is not something you can do in perpetuity, but I've been doing this for 6 months and I continue to go hard at this and just scale my operation as much as possible until it's over because I can't think of a better way to invest my free time as an entrepreneur into anything besides this.
I have a follow-up question. So, you talked about Apollo for generating leads.
Mhm.
Who I'm sure this is available in your course, but are you contacting HR people? Are you contacting
Yeah.
finance people? Are you contacting or looking for companies based geographically? Like, are you mostly hitting Buffalo? And because some of these companies may have already been hit.
Yeah.
Um, have you felt that a lot of companies that you emailed already got contacted by another representative or
It's a great question. So to answer the first part, I generally target people in the finance space. So that's CFOs, head of accounting, head of HR. I do reach out to some CEOs, although most of the time when a company is like over 20 employees or so, the CEOs are much more busy on other things and they're going to be less responsive. The smaller businesses, however, when you have like, 10, 15 employees, CEO is a good person to hit because they're going to be very involved in the day to day. So they're really good to go after. But generally I stick with finance folks because they're going to understand this the most. And if they haven't heard on it, they'll be able to do some research and understand what it is pretty simply. So that's generally who I go after in terms of outreach. And I know go after is kind of a weird way to put it, but who I reach out to maybe is a better way to
your
put it.
target?
Yeah, that's who I target. And I do target the entire country. I found for whatever reason, I get a ton of responses from Texas. People in Texas love the ERC and they're filling up my inbox and they're responding and they want to go after it all the time, which is great. People in New York, I've gotten deals almost, probably at least 20 different states I've gotten deals in. And so I target the entire country. This is not a thing outside of the country. So it's really important that you target with only in the US. And Mirka, what was that second part of your question there? Just if you could refresh.
Return, like how many people have already heard of this
Yeah.
program? Have you been like contacting them? We're like, actually, we already talked to another representative.
Yeah. So because, this is a growing opportunity and there's a lot of companies just like Bottom Line with a lot weaker reputation, I'll say, but that are doing this as well. It's not like Bottom Line's the only company that can do this. They're just one of the biggest in the country. So, if I send a ton of emails a day and I get 10 responses, probably 8 out of 10 of those responses are going to be, hey, we're already set with the ERC. Thanks for reaching out. That's a part of the game, right? It's a numbers game. There's a ton of businesses that have already received this money. Some recently have just done it. Some are working on it right now. Some people were really ahead of the game and applied for it back in 2021 before the legislation changed on it. And that does bring up a good point, actually. A key thing with this and why the affiliate marketing works so well with this opportunity is because we need to re-educate business owners on it. So if a business owner had previously applied for ERC and got rejected, if they did it early in 2020 or 2021, that's because the Biden administration changed how businesses can qualify later on towards the end of 2021 and early 2022. Businesses used to only be able to qualify if they showed that decline in revenue. And now it's decline in revenue is one method. That's the easiest, most straightforward, but there's all these other ways that they can qualify. And I think I actually have that here. Yeah. So like I said, and we went over this too in the intro slides, but all of these reasons can be ways that a business can qualify. So this was a new addition to the most recent iteration of ERC, direct from the IRS guidelines. So it's a big re-education thing. And that's why reaching out to folks is worthwhile. But yeah, a lot of businesses have done this already, and it's just a numbers game. It's basically what it comes down to.
Right. So I think everyone on this call will be contacting friends in Texas. Um,
Absolutely.
I see Dominic in the office smiling.
And I see Kelsey's got a question here. I'm seeing a lot of growth mindset here. How much do you feel you learned throughout the process? Kelsey, it's a great question. I was not into sales or marketing 6 months ago. Besides posting a few TikToks or Instagram reels, I have no formal experience. I graduated UB as an industrial engineer, so I didn't get any formal training whatsoever. Everything I've learned about sales has kind of maybe been instilled in me partially. Like I love teaching others about opportunity and getting people excited about stuff. So that may be just a trait that I've had. However, I've learned so much in the past 6 months about sales psychology, what people are responsive to, how to talk to people, how to encourage and excite people about things. And it's been just an amazing process. And even after ERC ends, my mindset shifted to a point where I'm like, I'm not even sure I want to be in the technical field anymore. I love sales. And sales is kind of an unlimited opportunity where you can go in any niche, whatever you like, and you can apply core sales skills once you learn that specific product or service, and you can sell to anybody once you kind of learn these skills. And doing it through my process and the way I do it, you're going to just get a ton of data from how people respond based on, what your email subject line says. Simple things like the way you phrase something, or if you use an exclamation point or not, it's going to affect how people respond. And just getting all this data in a pretty passive way has taught me so much about sales and marketing, which has been amazing. So I definitely gained a lot of that from this. Any other questions?
For me, not a question, but a comment. But I love how you took like your IE mindset of like simplifying, streamlining the process, like, and applied it to sales.
Yeah. And, it's that definitely has helped shape it too. It's systems are a big reason why I'm successful in doing this and why I'm able to teach other people how to do the same thing. A lot of my IE internships, I actually created work instructions of how to do certain processes. And this fit right in to how I created that course. I've never created a course before, by the way, either. This is the first time I've done it. And to just, not to pat myself on the back, but I've given my course to a bunch of my friends for free. I also charge money for it. I charge usually $300 and people have paid me for it time and time again. And my friends that have taken this course, they've gone through it in a weekend and have literally booked deals the same week that they learned how to do it. So what I have is extremely actionable stuff. And like I said, I'll support you guys 100% of the way. If you have questions, I'll help you wherever you're stuck if you want to do it. So anytime, I'm happy to help. And I got a message here. Just want to say thank you for the time and awesome information. I'll personally be reaching out. Yeah, look forward to doing it. Excited to help everybody here. And if you have friends or family that might be interested in this too, send them my way. And if they come from you and you say, hey, Ben, I have a friend that wants to do this, I'll also give them the course entirely for free.
Perfect. I think I have one last question because I think everyone's like eager. I think everyone after this call will be emailing you for this course. And you know what? We'll all be investing in Buffalo real soon.
Yeah.
But so through your course, does it talk about how to set up yourself through bottom line? I know, like, did bottom line approve your course? Like,
yeah. So bottom line technically didn't approve my course actually, but I know a ton of people that have courses around this because it's essentially the email marketing is the expertise that I push. Bottom line doesn't say, hey, you have to go out and do emails. But what I do is when you get the course, I give you some information for how to reach out. And you can just do this too. If you even don't want to get into the course and you just want to start referral partner and go on your own, that's fine too. But you just send me an email. All I need to get you set up as a referral partner, pretty simple, full name, best phone number, best email to reach you at. And from there, I get you signed up. It costs, again, you nothing. You pay nothing. Bottom line, we'll send over a W-9 form and some agreements for you to sign. So carefully read through those, make sure it's a fit for you. If so, you'll get set up. And then the way you operate is a 1099 contractor. So that means you'll get paid the full amount of whatever commission you're owed. The catch is you are responsible for taking that amount and paying the taxes that are owed on that. But that's a fun problem to have down the line when you start getting deals. And since I've started this, I've hired my first accountant, and it's just been a really easy process. So happy to point anybody in the right direction there too. But yeah, that's basically how it works. Just reach out to me and I'll get you set up whenever you're ready.
I don't know if anyone has any additional questions. If not, I want to thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight and I see there's still 3 people in the call, so we might have 3 new millionaires. But no, thank you for taking the time out. I know like in the past, you've been a judge, and just, I know you want to give back to Blackstone, and you are giving back, and we appreciate that a lot.
Yeah,
So,
I'm happy to help however I can. And anytime if you want me to come in and talk, I live just on Chestnut Ridge Road, basically right across the road from UB. So I can be there anytime, just 5 minutes away. So happy to help.
perfect. So if you're welcome to leave at whatever point you like. Right now, I'm just gonna go back with our students who are still in the office and tell them about upcoming opportunities.
Sounds good.
Yeah, if everyone could bid Ben farewell and thank you. Dominic, I don't see you clapping. I know Dominic, that's why I'm picking on him. But yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around, fellas. This is good stuff. I'm gonna jet here, but yeah, like I said, reach out anytime and we'll get started. All right.
All right.
Take care. Have a good night.
Bye.